If your mind is not your friend, then I don't think you can have any friend. If you are your own enemy, how can you make friends with anybody else? There are so many people for whom their mind is their own enemy. Another verse, I have no friend. Really? You have no friend? I have no friend. I make my mind my friend. See how beautiful it is and how true it is. If your mind is not your friend, then I don't think you can have any friend. If you are your own enemy, how can you make friends with anybody else? So the other day, 2 days ago, I was chatting with one of my friends, and he asked me, why are you in Bangkok? I said, I'm here to publish another book. And he asked me, what's the book about? I said, well, I call my book, My Mind is My Friend. And he laughed and he said, there are so many people for whom their mind is their own enemy. And it is true. Because when your mind tells you to do evil things and you do it, you get into trouble. And when you get into trouble, will you call that mind your friend? Definitely no. And when you are doing evil and you tell another person to do evil, are you friends? No. Both of you get into trouble. Anything that gets you into trouble is not your friend. Our mind is not always our friend. Because sometimes we think of doing something that is not proper, not right, and we do it. We make akusala. So we cannot say that our mind is always our friend. Sometimes it is our enemy, sometimes it is our friend. But how can you make your mind your real friend? By practicing mindfulness. This is the only way. That's why Buddha said this is the only way. By really watching your mind, by really paying attention to what you are thinking or feeling at any moment throughout the day, you will see the truth about your mind. And only when you see the truth about your mind, gradually it will become purer and it will become your friend. When your mind becomes your friend, your true friend, then you are a really happy person. This is the only way to be happy. You may have other friends, but if your mind is not your friend, you cannot be really happy. Because actually, when you think about it, that which makes you really unhappy is your own mind. And that which brings you true happiness is your own mind. So, only when you meditate and pay attention to what you think throughout the day, it will become your friend. And another verse is connected to this verse. I have no enemy. Really? Even Buddha had, so-called enemies. He did not think of anybody as enemy, but there were a lot of people at the time of the Buddha who wanted to kill him and tried to kill him too. And I think most of you already know the stories. But that is external enemy. You can avoid them most of the time. You can run away, you can hide. But here, this poet is saying, I have no enemy. I make carelessness my enemy. And this word carelessness has many synonyms. Heedlessness is also one, which is the opposite of mindfulness. Forgetfulness is also another one. So heedlessness, forgetfulness, carelessness really degrades our life. It degrades our mind. And mindfulness, awareness, attention, it upgrades our mind, uplifts our mind. So when we really think about it, our real enemy is not out there. Our real enemy is right here inside. Carelessness, heedlessness, not paying attention, not knowing. Another verse, I have no armor. Armor means the protective clothes, very strong. They used to make it with iron, steel. So I have no armor. I make benevolence my armor. Benevolence means generosity, kindness, charity, and all that. So we try to protect ourselves from other people attacking us by wearing a very strong armor. We may be able to avoid being harmed that way, but we cannot always escape from danger that way. Because if we are not kind and gentle and generous, if we hurt other people all the time, then other people will hurt us. And someday they will succeed. So the best way to protect ourselves from being harmed by other people is by being kind, by being helpful, by being generous, by being loving. So loving kindness and compassion actually really protects us. And I want to put mindfulness also here. Sometimes some of my friends or some of my disciples, they are going abroad. They are going a long way, a long trip. So some of them, they came to me and asked me, we are going a long way and we want to be safe. What shall we take with us? Can you give us something we can take so that we can be safe? I said, take with you loving kindness and mindfulness. That's the only thing I can give you. And that will keep you safe. If that cannot keep you safe, nothing else can. So all of us want to be safe. We don't want to be harmed. So the best way to be safe is to be kind, to be loving, to be generous, to be helpful. I can elaborate a lot on that, but I think the gist of this is quite enough. The more I think about it, the more ideas come in my mind, and I want you to do the same thing. Another verse, I have no castle. Castle means a big house built with stone. Very strong house. I have no castle. I make immovable mind my castle. Immovable mind. That means samadhi. Samadhi is immovable mind. And when you have sati also, when sati becomes really strong, it becomes something like samadhi. Very similar. So sati and samadhi makes your mind really strong. So to have a strong mind, we need to develop sati and samadhi by practicing meditation. So people want to build a castle and live in the castle because they want to be safe and secure. But who are your enemies? Your own thoughts. If you don't have sati and samadhi, all kinds of thoughts will come into your mind. You can never be safe. So if you really want to be safe, we need to develop sati and samadhi. So you cannot feel safe in a castle. You can feel safe only if you have strong sati and samadhi. Another verse, I have no sword. Samurais, they carry a big sword. But this samurai is saying that I have no sword. So this samurai must be a very different kind of samurai. A meditator samurai. So he said, I have no sword. I make absence of self my sword. Absence of self. No atta. People carry swords because they want other people to be afraid of them. Or if another person come and attack them, they will use the sword to attack another person to protect themselves. But no matter how many swords you carry, no matter how much you protect yourself, you'll be attacked, and someday they'll succeed and you'll be killed. So we can never feel safe as long as we have big ego. People carry sword and they feel that if they are carrying a sword or even a gun, they feel powerful. They feel protected. But as long as you have big ego, you're always afraid. And that makes me remember and think about something I've read in the Pali literature. Wow, I must contradict myself now. Buddha said there are two persons who are not afraid of anything. One person is a person with big ego. So, you see, I've contradicted myself already. Another person is a person with no ego. So during the war, in the war, you see some people, they are not afraid to die. I've seen some movies about Second World War where the Japanese fighter pilots, they dive down on the American warship. They knew that they are going to be killed that way, but they were not afraid to die. They killed themselves. So they were not afraid. So I'm sorry I contradicted myself. Buddha himself said that there are two persons who are not afraid. One person is with very big ego, another person is with no ego. Which one do you like? So, I make absence of self my sword. That's a real powerful weapon in a way. So ego always feel insecure. Ego is always trying to prove itself. People who practice vipassana meditation, when they develop real good mindfulness, they see that there's only physical process and mental process going on. Only process. No person, no being, no ego, no self. This is a little difficult to understand. But if you really practice vipassana meditation, you'll see it for yourself. Because all nature is always process, nothing else, nothing more than that. So when you see for yourself that there's only natural processes going on, there's no self, no ego, then you don't feel so afraid of it anymore. Some people, when they really develop vipassana insights, are not even afraid to die. They die very calmly, quietly, peacefully, meditating. Some of them died meditating. I know some people like that, and I want to do that too. So, if we really want to live a good life and feel safe and die with no fear, what is the best thing we can do? Mindfulness, right. To live mindfully and to die mindfully. That's the main point I want to talk about today. And I think I've really covered all the points clearly. So, I'm trying my best to live a good life. As a human being, I'm not perfect, like everybody else. But mostly, I feel very happy about my life. I've learned how to meditate. Once I got, not only once, I think at least 3 times in my life, I got very close to death. Once, I thought I was really dying. And my friends also thought that I was dying. So I gave up hope, and they also gave up hope. Then I thought, at least I want to die mindfully. And I meditated. And because of that, my mind became very calm, and after a while, I thought I fell asleep. But my friends thought that I was unconscious. Then I woke up, I was feeling really good, and I recovered. I think it was mindfulness that saved my life. And from that time, I found out how to die. But I want to go on living. So I also found out how to live. And how to die and how to live are the same. Live mindfully and die mindfully. So that's the end of my talk. And I'm very happy to be here today. And I thank Kondana here very much for making this happen. Actually, I was feeling not well yesterday. And I was really worrying. Can I really go there and give a long talk for 2 hours? I don't know how long I took. But I thought, it's okay, I will go anyway. And I sat here, I was not really feeling well, but I am feeling really well now. So I thank all of you very much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.